Erica Jane or that Dorinda where like there is a presence season 1 as compared to like a Teddy or some other people that haven't lasted as long in the Housewives world. That's all.
I love, well, you know, Diana, have you seen the spoof that people are doing because Diana licks her lips a lot throughout the episodes?
I don't notice it. I have to watch. There's
a whole cut. I love it. There's a whole cut of her always like licking her lips. I like her. I mean, I think we've talked about this a lot. There's 10 players on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Your storyline is so short. And of course, you know, you have the queens, you know, you have Kyle, you have Doris, obviously huge now with what's going on. Rinna's big, Erica J, you know, so Diana, we're only going to see these snippets, I think. There's a lot. And I mean, to me, I'm curious, like, does it get interesting with Crystal? Does it, you know, Sutton's a huge player.
Apparently Sutton and Diana have a big thing coming up. I mean, by the time everyone hears this, they might've already, but they're going to have a little fight.
Yes.
Look, I don't care. Sutton's a good housewife, guys. She went up against her. She doesn't care. She doesn't care. And she's not trying to get camera time. So, I mean, Sutton, I don't want to criticize anyone, but like, I said it before, Crystal girl. I mean, it just may not be. Crystal's got to step it up, you know? She's got to step it up. She's good. I mean, she doesn't. Everyone needs to be crazy, but I just don't think we're taking 10 people into the next season. Kathy Hilton swears that like she ain't going nowhere. She's not going to be run off this show by Rinna, but I don't know. Is Kathy really going to come back?
I know. Be very interesting. Like I said, look, I don't even miss Kathy at this stage. I don't. I know she's coming up. I know there was obviously, like we've talked about, there was like contract dispute or whatever, and then Kathy signed on later. I adored Kathy last season, but I don't miss her so far in this. There's so much going on. It's not like I think about, when's Kathy going to be here?
Well, we got some other things going on. Carolyn Manzo wants to punch Teresa in the face. I mean, okay, so I'm like oversimplifying. It's not exactly said like that, but you saw that Carolyn Manzo went on her son's podcast.
Albie, right? Albie's got a podcast now. And okay. And, well, look, I think I'm team Teresa on this. Teresa's like, look, Albie needed press. She went on there. She said that she said that she'd beat the crap out of Teresa verbally, you know, that she needs to be like put in her place or whatever, because so much is going on with Louis and her entitlement or whatever. And Teresa came out and said, this is just to get Albie's podcast out there. And I mean, I kind of agree. I actually had a very fun run-in with, Miss Manzo at the Javits Center in New York City several years ago when Housewives was just beginning. I'm talking, this had to be 12 years ago. Super sweet, very nice, very little in real life. She was terrific. Way before like she became super housewife famous. I'm going to say season 1, 2, 3 of like Jersey. Carolyn was great. So, but I do have to be team Teresa on this. Do you think
listen, first of all, Teresa also goes further to say that when they were just shot that commercial that neither of them wanted to do, but I mean, money talks, you know, 3 years ago, that they got along as good. Yeah,
there's Sabra hummus commercial. Yeah.
Look, I feel that of course, Carolyn knows what she's doing. And if she's going to say this about Teresa, it's going to be a thing. And it does get the podcast out there. I do think that she is somebody who would come in and slap Melissa and slap Teresa. And no, I mean, Carolyn coming back to Jersey to put Teresa in her place is as exciting to fans as LVP coming back. Whether you love them or hate them, you can watch Carolyn, or a lot of people hate LVP. It doesn't matter. You still would be like, holy shit, this is major, right? So, I mean, Carolyn would give Teresa, she would not care. I mean, do we need that though? Also, like, I mean, we just had that with Margaret. Margaret didn't really care. Yes, I think Caroline is scarier than Margaret, sure. But I don't know. I mean, look, I don't think Caroline's coming back just yet. Here's my thing. There's a point at which if you're still talking about the shit and you're involved and it's a thing, you might as well just go back. I mean, I don't know.
Do you think, but why hasn't Carolyn been invited back? Jackie, Carolyn, why do you think they have all not been back?
Well, those are two different situations, Jacqueline and Carolyn. First of all, Jacqueline lives in Vegas with Chris because life got a little expensive in New Jersey, and so they relocated. Carolyn, I mean, I think that she could go back anytime she really wants, if she really wanted. I do. I mean, I think they had a great thing in New Jersey the past few years, and now they're mixing it up. I mean, Jackie's demoted. They have these 3 new girls. I think now we're changing the tides in Jersey, and I think that if she wanted to, she certainly could go back. I think it's that she's publicly said, I won't go back unless there's a dump truck of money. I mean, she knows her worth, and I think she's really been clear that it needs to be $1 million or more. Now you have Teresa and Melissa in the millions. So can they afford this? Do you know what I mean? Like, the show is top heavy. That is what sunk the ship with Ramona and Luann and Sonia right behind them. The RHONJ ship sunk because of the salaries ish.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You always have such good insight. That's fascinating. Okay. And I mean, does New Jersey need Caroline Manzo? I mean, it's pretty good now with Margaret. It's really good. Margaret, the guys are so good. Jennifer Aiden's so good. I mean, it is like, there's a franchise that's moved on, and it's like Caroline Manzo was she is a classic, but yeah.
I think you save these things until you need them. LVP, yes. Caroline. But at the same time, you saved Heather Dubrow until you needed her. And I love Heather. It's not her fault, but it didn't really work. It wasn't a great season of the OC. So when you they brought Sheree back, and they gave Marlo a peach, and Atlanta is having an off season.
Yeah. I mean,
so
you're right. I think
this
that's
whole
a good strategy.
Bringing people back, now it's kind of not worked twice. And I love Sheree, and I love Marlo, and I love Heather Dubrow. It's not against them. It's not on them. It's overall, it's not working. So I don't know. I don't really know. What I do know is, speaking of LVP, is that Stassi and Beau have just spoken out about Brittany and Jax not attending their wedding.
Okay, no, I'm so curious about this because there's all kinds of rumors floating around that essentially they were uninvited because Stassi and Beau couldn't afford it, and there wasn't a production company sending them. So what do you think is the truth, and what's being said?
Stassi and Beau just said on their Patreon only, the good, the bad, the baby. That's the name of it. Patreon only, guys. Get out your coins and pay. She has said that, there was, and Beau has said this, that there was a group text with a bunch of golfing bros, and Jax was group texting saying like, yeah, I'm not going to that thing. And Beau was apparently in the group text, and Jax didn't realize who was in the group text. And so they kind of